Welcome to another edition of the Afternoon Idle. I am Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness coach in the Unified Mindfulness System. You can find out about Unified Mindfulness by going to unifiedmindfulness.com. I'm a meditation coach, a meditator, a Soto Zen practitioner, a wrestling announcer, an ordained Buddhist priest, but what I am not is a mental health professional or a licensed therapist. So today, let's see, this is the first week completed of this experiment. So me stepping away from work for about a half hour to talk about meditation and do a short guided meditation. Always looking for feedback on if this is a good time, things like that. So Angie and Sarah, very nice that you could join live today. So I'm going to play around a bit with, the sits that we have are a little bit different, perhaps than what you may get, say, in a regular meditation app or something along those lines, or a great meditation app for that matter. But so what I'm looking to play with is the fact that in the Unified Mindfulness System, we have lots of techniques, and I'm playing around with this idea of a technique. Doing a technique is doing something, and can we contrast that with dropping the technique altogether and just having an open monitoring or choiceless awareness experience and do nothing? So the Unified Mindfulness System includes do nothing as a category. And this is the creator of that, Shinzen Young's approach at trying to put a technique around what appears in other meditation traditions. It goes under different names. In the Tibetan system, it's, I believe, referred to as Mahamudra, which I think is the Great Perfection. And in Japanese Zen, it's referred to as Zazen. So the Zen part is the pronunciation of dhyana, the Sanskrit word dhyana. The Za part means sitting, so Zazen is sitting meditation. It's also referred to as shikantaza, which is a sort of emphatic just this, like only this, you sitting here being a human in this body. So that's a lot of words around a technique that doesn't have a technique, really. So it's the technique of no technique. This is also referred to as choiceless awareness. So if you're familiar with Krishnamurti, J.D. Krishnamurti referred to this approach as choiceless awareness. So we're aware, but we're not directing any of our concentration where we're going. So for our sit, we're going to have a technique, a something, each time, and then we'll drop that technique and do nothing. And in essence, just as a demonstration, I offer this as a guided meditation, almost like cross-training. And the thought, or my sort of thesis, is that if we look at meditation in a sort of skills-based perspective of anytime we're doing meditation, we're training concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity, that in doing something and then contrasting it with doing nothing, we may see those skills or the experience of doing nothing may pop out and in a realness over time that the contrast shows. So it's a thought. I don't have any proof. So that's our experiment. So if none of that made any sense, don't worry. Probably didn't. So the technique for today is just feel. The Unified Mindfulness System looks at by way of abstraction, amplifying and organizing our experience in three categories. That's one category for visual, external and internal. That's category is referred to as C. Auditory, which is mental talk and sounds around us, that's here. And then feel is the one that we've been focused on for this week. And that is both physical body sensations and internal emotional body sensations. And so for what we'll do is referred to as a shorthand name for the technique, or a label for the technique, is just feel. And that includes both the feel in as one way of referring to the emotional body sensations, and then feel out is those external physical body sensations. So you can always choose, or the part of the power of unified mindfulness as a system is you have lots of choice. And part of what makes unified mindfulness potentially confusing is you have lots of choice. So it can be fun to mix and match the techniques in a couple different ways, just to play with the flavor that you may get in your experience, or you may just want to do nothing. So I offer that. We'll sit together for 15 minutes, and I endeavor, although if you're keeping score at home, I endeavor to have an equal something and an equal nothing, but I may not always achieve that. So we'll begin, and invite you to adopt a posture that helps you foster a state that is both relaxed and alert. So we're relaxed enough to kind of reduce the activation from our day, and we're alert enough that we don't fall asleep, with the caveat that if you fall asleep, that's totally okay. You needed that sleep. So don't beat yourself up about it. So in checking in with our posture matters. We endeavor to be dignified in the way that we sit. Torso is upright, spine is long. Torso is in that position without efforting, without straining or efforting to hold that position. And if possible, the shoulders are over the hips, the nose is aligned with the navel. And then just check in to see if there's any tension present in the forehead, around the eyes, around the jaw, the neck, and the shoulders. So again, you probably know where you hold your attention, where you hold your stress. Just taking the temperature, if you will, of what's that like. And as you notice, the tension may release. As you notice, it could not release, or as you notice, it might get a little more tight. Just kind of seeing what that's like. And then we'll do a few intentional breaths. And again, our motto here is borrowed from the wise sages, the Beastie Boys, and we're going to breathe slow in through the nose and low into the bottom of the lungs. So that's our tempo. Slow and low. Breathing slow is a way to cue into the nervous system that things are calm and okay. And as we breathe slow, we can begin to fill the lower parts of the lungs. And if we can breathe from a deeper part of the lungs, we begin to signal to our nervous system that it's okay to relax, to chill out. You may notice that this is settling. So the out-breath has a sort of sinking or downward action to it. And the in-breath is a rise up, and the out-breath is a settle in. And we'll shift to our technique, the something portion of our programming today, which is just feel. So we have one label, feel, and our range of focus, what we're paying attention to, is the body, both the emotional body sensations and the physical body sensations. So we notice where the attention wants to be in the body. We soak our attention in, and then optionally label feel. The use of the label is optional. It's the noticing that's really the key part. The label is like a skillful use of thinking to sort of spot the attention, to support it. One thing you can play with today is the tone of your label if you're labeling. If you're not, that's okay. So, Shinzen and other of the senior trainers in like to refer to the tone of our label that we want to use is equanimity voice. So it's a calm, measured, matter of fact feel. And the tone and the pace and the timbre of it, even if it's said mentally, is one that would help signal that neither pushing nor pulling on experience, the innerness. Before I let you explore this, just a reminder that your attention will be pulled away by sounds. You may be pulled away by inner talk or mental images. That's okay. There's a no big deal attitude we use to bring our attention back to the body. And go ahead and explore this on your own for a while here. So before we drop the technique, just a moment to check in with what what is. So what's the experience like right now? What's it like to be in the body? when we do that, we can think of it as a kind of feeling into it, not thinking about it, which I know is vague, but just a thought to experiment with and feel. So as we've been doing that technique, we can kind of think of that as metaphorically pedaling our way on our bike ride metaphor. And here we have the ability now to coast. So we drop the technique, we let that go, and we allow our attention to move as it wishes, to be free range. As you sit, you may notice there's a desire to control or guide or influence where the attention is. When you notice that, go ahead and let go of that too. And if thoughts come up, we allow them to run their natural course.
And it never print.
So we'll have interruptions from the outside world, a chance to be in that stance of no big deal. Operating from a lightness, even in doing nothing. So if you have a go-to meditation technique, maybe it's focusing on the breath, or maybe, I don't know, it's a mantra practice. you may find that when you drop the technique, the mind wants to go to the comfortable home base. And so you can let go of that. But if it goes back after you've let go, that's sort of a sign that the awareness is doing what it wants to do. So you can let that be what's going on. It sounds a bit mystical, schmystical, but it's almost like the activity of meditation is sort of meditating you. So you've got your hands off the handlebars and it's doing what it wants to do. And if that's not happening, no big deal. Thank you for joining me live, and thank you for your practice. If you have any reports or such, really quick, I can attempt to respond. If not, and if nobody says otherwise, I will schedule afternoon idle live streams next week for 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 Mountain. So yeah. And thank you for those that joined live, and thank you for whoever is looking at this in the future, or whatever machine learning algorithm is studying this and trying to figure out how to be a meditator. I applaud machine learning for taking the time and energy to be a meditator. All right, have a great weekend.